this morning. So yeah, but he's been practicing it. So
Yeah.
it, there you go, Will.
Okay. Good morning, Central.
Grand
Nice,
rising to you.
nice to have you here. So, Jesse prompted the question this morning. Um, what what is one word you would describe the world as? Yeah. Uh,
So many things are jumping through my mind. Here's the song, Ball of Confusion.
yeah.
Before that, it was Mystical.
Mm,
Mm.
very cool.
And I land on Wondrous.
Wondrous.
Mhm.
Wondrous. Was that your initial
It
word?
it was, but I didn't
Wow.
develop it. It got like what do you call asteroids of the other thoughts of mystical and all the confusion tried to were colliding with wondrous, but it's no matter what, it's wondrous.
Wow. Yeah.
There's so much space in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you can just sit with that, eh?
Mm.
What a beautiful worldview.
And Cinderella, what's opposite of wondrous?
Can you repeat that?
What is opposite of wondrous?
So when I think of opposite, I think of something almost that's dynamically polarizing, different from that which we're calling opposite of.
Mm. Mm.
But I have some a new perspective on the opposite
Mm.
just now. I get magnificent. Thank you for the question. Because opposite doesn't have to mean against. If you go to dinner with somebody and someone sits opposite of you, you can have someone magnificent sitting opposite of you. Play ball with someone, they're on the opposite side of the field. That's complimentary. It doesn't,
Yeah.
when they catch the ball, that's magnificent.
Wow.
You are magnificent.
Yes. That is just so wonderful, Central. Thank you for sharing that.
Wow.
It is beautiful to hear the possibilities that are available, a different view of the world from our own. When you see it through the eyes of someone else.
I read a book one time that often visits me, and it's what I got from it. It's called The Shack, and forgive me for not knowing the author at the moment. But this man his life was just like twisted and thwarted, and he was convicted with um, guilt and shame and grief. And he was taken to this place, and it was just like a garden of utter mess, just mess. And you couldn't see the forest for the trees. Everything was just thick, 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 thick. But from a sage, superconscious perspective, there was nothing but bountifulness and beautifulness and seeds and of flourishing flowers and life and vitality. Perspective. And as he came through his trials of things, and he had to like go to this place and labor, like dig holes, and he didn't particularly like the labor that he had to go through just to get one step and one step and one step as he worked out. He didn't even know he was working out his grief. But as he made the paths of life and choosing to take that one step, even when it hurt, to break away from the casting pains and indignation of his perspectives that he was holding on to. He was holding on to being the jailer and the one jailed all at the same time. But as he took one step and pressed in through the pain and did the work, that's what cultivated the path of the beautiful garden that even he was able to appreciate. That mess was wondrous, what we get to do with what we get to do.
That's what I would call deep appreciation. As you spoke that, Sandro, the description of the book, what came to me was that there was a melting of the barriers of grief and shame and guilt. And when they came down, there was just more and more sunlight. And joy and wonder.
So you're prompting me to share.
Mm.
The practice of prayer for me has had its way of things.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how a minister, preacher, a person of the cloth, they pray for people. But today, I prayed for God.
What was it in your body that brought that through? Like, where did you bring that through?
It was, I spoke it out loud, but it just touched my heart that,
Mm.
we compliment God, the energy of God, the beingness of God. We praise the energy and the beingness of God. We ask for stuff from God, beg, plead. But I was like, today I was like, God, how are you doing? How are you today? Your love, I pray that your expression of love grows and flows and have places to be.
Mm.
I pray that you don't have to hold in your goodness or withhold your goodness. I pray that your beingness, your evolutionary, continuous, evolving and beingness has a place and places and multiple places to be expressed and received. I pray for your joy, for your ecstatic laughter and happiness and pleasure and being pleased and the expressions that come out of your creations. Today, I pray, God, that you get more of what you want. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Chi, are you in a space where you want to share the word?
Yeah,
So
um,
good morning. Let me ask you the question, right?
yeah,
That good?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm I'm almost home. In about 1 or 2 minutes,
I
I will
let you
park in
be
my car.
there. I'll let you be there.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
almost home. Yeah, just on my way home from work.
Glad you're with us. Great to be with you.
Yeah, thank you, and happy to be here, you guys.
And thank you, Sandrell. It's like, oh, I mean, it's so much we can learn about people's perspective with such
Mm,
a wide question.
Mm.
yeah. To describe the world with one word, what
Yeah.
was the question?
Yep. Yeah. If you could you use one word to describe the state of the world today?
The state of the world. Sorry. Yeah. Uh, e evolutionary. It's constant evolving. So
Mm.
um, what we see, it's just it's just a glimpse of the time, of the eternity. It's evolving. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So team, is that positive? Is that charged positive or negative or neutral?
It's neutral, because yeah, I've learned so much from you that I love what you brought about the neutral, the zero. It's it's what what I lost it. It's our it's like our higher self. It's our super conscious. I believe that our super conscious is neutral.
Yes, I do too.
Mm. So it's not good nor bad. It's not right nor wrong. It's evolving.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Mm.
Yes. Oh, great. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, that's how I best can describe.
And the other side of evolving. So if you're not evolving, you're
Yeah, it's stagnating or
yeah,
stuck.
yeah. Thank you.
Mm.
Mm.
So
That's awesome,
ah,
Chi. Thank you.
so what do we learn about the answers?
That's different for everyone.
Yeah, and but yes, different. How?
Everyone has their own worldview
Uh-huh.
and reference, as
What
within,
was
as
some
so without.
I guess I'm pointing. What's the difference?
Don't know.
Can you share the previous shares perspective?
That
Hey,
probably would help, wouldn't it?
that would help.
You should start with Angie.
All right. So
Some
yes, I'll start
context
with
here,
mine.
eh?
I'll start with mine. So when I was when I was designing the question and this process right yesterday, uh, Allison was on my mind as like the first one to test. And when I test them, right, I play the what people could do, right? And I always break it to, there's two edges, right? Two extremes. And so I was like, all right, if I were to ask Allison this question, like what would be in the same way I'm giving my answer as I ask it, but I was like, okay, what would she say? And she said, and my words for her were, it's fucked. Fucked. And so it's like, okay, yes, that is definitely like, then I go like, can someone answer the question that way? Sure. And so then it's like, and that's the way, how do I, yes, I'll go with like, that is what I would say of the world, but not that I worry, like, we're here. I'll get to how I do it. So it's like, all right, so if it's fucked, what's the opposite of fucked? Because that's what I want.
I still can't come up with the opposite of it. I can come up with the opposite feeling of it, but I can't come up with the word.
What's the feeling?
The feeling is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then it's like, okay, well, what's the opposite of fucked? And I was like, well, I think it's belong.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, this is how I see it. But then it's like, is that really how I would want to see it? That's what I'm getting to.
Mm.
Just because that's the way we see it, what it's revealing is the deep defaults.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Because we haven't like sat and thought about that question a lot, but we do.
Mm.
We kind of like make side hand comments about it, but it really reveals how we're viewing our world.
Mm-hmm. And contributing to it.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well.
And it's like that's how we're creating it.
Exactly.
And so the difference was it a positive response, a positive word, or a negative word?
Yeah.
And then if it's a negative word, everyone wants positive words. So if it's a negative word, then you just shine the light on the other side. And it's like, no, this is what you want. What you want is always through the opposite.
Yeah.
Fascinating is I got to dance with someone that gives you a positive response. And today that was the experiment of going, okay, well, what's on the opposite of that? Because either way, the whole process is to open space, not what your answer is, just to open space.
Mm.
That's it's interesting how your word is belong as the opposite.
Mm.
What's talking?
And the opposite word I got to that was celibate.
Very good, Joe. Very good, Joe. Hans, what were your words?
My word was illusion.
Illusion.
Ah.
It's an illusion, no matter how good you look at it, you can't see it from any other perspective than your own.
Wow.
That is so brilliant.
Yeah.
And so is that a positive or negative?
It's a neutral.
Neutral.
The
Oh,
neutral.
leaning to the positive side, I'd say. Yeah. So it's got
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
vibe of a positive in it.
But
yeah.
more,
That's,
if I should make it more positive, I would say the world is a creation.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
That's
beautiful,
exactly
Heinz.
what it is.
Awesome. That's so enlightened. You're so woke.
I'm digging around in the mud. Thank goodness I've got you guys around me.
Yeah. It can be
Well,
so easy to be stuck in the mud, eh?
lotus flowers can only grow in the mud.
Oh,
There you go.
wow.
Yeah.
And what was the opposite word you chose, Hein?
I don't have an opposite to an illusion. If I would say reality, then it still depends on, we all have different realities.
Mm.
Yeah.
It would just go a little less than the illusion. I think it would just be negative, negative neutral. If illusion was positive neutral.
Like perspective. I'm just
Reality
throwing
is what
words
we
out there
make
now,
it.
though.
So I'll speak to my experience of this yesterday.
Yes,
Was
please, Allison.
I mean, there's one funny thing. So I was in the laundromat and there were other people there when Jesse asked me the question, and I didn't have my headphones, so I couldn't talk softly. So, so the word that he had was the word that came into my head, and I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to translate this right now? And so I had mess. The
Yeah.
world's a mess. And then as we spoke later on, I said to him, that a long time ago, and it was before I went to, before I knew about my meditation teacher. And the world wasn't a good place where I was living, which was South Africa in the time of apartheid. And I wasn't emotionally in a good place. And the one day I can remember I had walked from where I lived to meet up with a girlfriend of mine where we were going to be for the evening. And it was just before sunset. And as I was walking, there was a sunset, and it was just so beautiful. And I had this experience just wash through me. And that's when I realized the world is not life. That was my realization. Life is amazing and awe-inspiring and indescribable in its beauty and complexity. And that's not the world. It's much, much bigger. The world is just this speck. So it was really wonderful for me to revisit because I am in what I would call no man's land at the moment. That's part of my experience, is being there. And what's different for me now about being there is that I can just watch it. I feel it, not sure where to put my next foot, not sure what I want to create, as both Chi and Hans have spoken to. I'm not at Sandrel's experience of it being wondrous yet. So it was a great exercise to do. It was really, really good.
Yeah. Thank you. Awesome.
You're
It's
welcome.
beautiful.
So I'm going to modify it. And when I say, okay, here's your, when they give me the word, I'm going to ask where they feel that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a good one.
And then even in the opposite. So the whole point of the exercise, right, is around the awareness, like bringing it up,
Mhm.
in them having a breakthrough quickly.
Mhm.
Isn't that the best that we can do for others?
Yeah.
And if we allow ourselves to have the breakthrough with them,
Wow. Wow. What a gift.
just
And
think
it's
of
like
the
this.
connection that makes in the fields.
Yeah.
In a group, you know, it amplifies.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's wonderful, Chi.
And we are all magicians, creating our own illusion.
We're all illusions.
Yeah,
We certainly
that's the
are.
only thing that isn't an. That's the only thing that isn't an illusion. It's
Ex-
your own life. You know about that.
yeah.
So that's your creation. But to others, it may look like a new illusion to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, how does he do that?
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
he have
Wow.
36 hours a day to make all that?
Yeah.
And a magician is the same
Oh,
as the opposite would be a creator if the
Mm.
world was a creation.
Mm.
man,
So
wouldn't call them the same. I'd call them on the same side.
You're a bit garbled, Jesse. Sorry, can you repeat that?
Mhm.
was that Jesse or was that Will?
I think it was Jesse. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, is that any better?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
better
Yep.
now. Thanks.
So the what like Heinz, you said the magician and the creator are opposites, and I thought, wow, I would hold them the same.
Yeah.
I would put them if I was to put them if I was to categorize them in the same. Categorize them both in a positive bucket.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
So then I'd be like, okay, well, really, like, what's the like the creator? I say is creating good.
Mhm.
light. That's what I say. But a creator could also be creating darkness.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
still a creator or a
Yeah.
magician. You call it whatever you want.
Yeah. Like, what's the
Very
intent?
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Whether
is
it's
which
conscious
is
or unconscious.
which is what we're getting here is we get as you in that moment that you're reflecting in all those words, whatever direction that is for you, that is your soul's orientation. That is you're being pulled by your soul.
Wow. Inner
And
reference.
we all just got a glimpse of it.
Wow. Yikes.
So not only is it what your soul's going for, we also see what your world's about. So how you view your world and how your natural orientation to it. So now we know who you are. You've just revealed your authenticity from a neutral space because the question is so uncharged.
Mm-hmm.
So can I
Now
share?
what you'll notice though is like if we start to set up the charges, you'll start to see your default is to either defend, protect, or fight against that potential, that opportunity. So when there's a charge situation, you're going to resist it.
Mhm,
And so then you rob yourself of that experience.
mhm,
Mm.
So that's your creation. You get to create like hanging on to that resistance or going through the resistance to find something better.
Mm.
It's all
So
come down to how we choose to show up in this life.
yeah,
You know, our true self, our inner wisdom. You know,
mhm,
to stand in our power, we must be aligned with our inner.
hmm
I think
uh,
that is the neutral. Yeah.
mm. So there's a couple of ways that people have taught me to muscle test.
Hmm.
I didn't really think I got really good with like quote muscle testing because it's like I didn't want to do anything. Like it was like well, I want to do it inside so nobody knows I'm doing some stupid thing. Because here, like all from the fear, right? The fear that they're going to judge me, the whole source. And and so I don't use it often, but what I started very early on in the one that worked really well for me was stand in a standstill, right? Shoulder width apart and drop into neutral. And so to feel neutral is to feel balanced here, right? Is to neutralize it, neutral. And so now you're calming, you're neutral with it. And then you put a thought in your mind and you just see how your body reacts. You'll watch it. And then and so you go positive, you see what happens with a positive. You do negatives, you see what happens to a negative.
Hmm.
What I do is I roll onto my toes from flat foot, right? Rolling to my toes. And what happens with negative is I go to my heels. So I'm sinking down into my heels.
Hmm.
I look up when I'm going to good light. I go up and I'm looking down when it's bad.
Hmm.
Negative, positive, good, bad, right, wrong, right? They all mean the same thing. It's all in the charge.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
So I
noticing it.
said, yeah. And so I was in the shower last night and what I noticed is like I was just thinking about the word authenticity. And what I found is I found myself as high, looking up,
Mm.
not all the way up, just a tendency of up and on my toes in the shower.
Mm.
That's where I get my truths, right? And it's like, yes, truth, like that is how strong authenticity is.
Yeah.
And so to have people experience that just as I did right there, like that quickly to feel what authenticity is for them.
Mm.
I'm thinking that your zero, the zero is not nothing. It's a circle, it's a complete circle.
Yeah.
It's like the dot, it's nothing and it's in everything. It's an ending and a beginning.
Mm-hmm.
The same, yeah.
It's a great, if you imagine a little tiny dot in the middle of a paper,
Mm.
Mm.
right?
Without that one, yeah.
Where does your attention go?
Mm.
You ask what's here and you say a dot because that's what we focus on. You don't even see all the white space.
Mm.
Mm.
Fixate.
Yep. That is what we're doing in our language.
Yeah.
Mm.
We're not even seeing all the white piece, all the white paper around the black dot. All we see is the black dot. It's like, oh, it's that way. We don't see what other truths could be around it. We don't see any other point of view. We just see our black dot.
Mm.
And everyone has their black dot. Well, those are exercises that really can help people see their charge. So that's aware they're being charged.
Mm.
And when you're aware of it, you allow it. So it's really allow being charged.
Mm.
ABC, allow being charged.
Mm. This is such good work, Jesse. So, so good.
And powerful in the simplicity.
Yeah.
I call these, these questions that you ask, I call them power questions, like PQs, power
Mm.
questions, because they're
Mm.
powerful when you
Mm.
dive into them, because there's so much possibility within
Mm.
when you
Mm-hmm.
ask the right power question.
Mm-hmm.
And how would I come up with those?
Like
By
with yourself.
listening.
Wow.
I try
You,
them on. I practice with people with them.
but you also listen to get them, Jesse.
Yeah,
It's very deep listening that you do.
I listen to what my answers are and then I apply it to how could everyone answer something different. So it's always I say like I think about it from the very one end to the very other end. And I'm trying to make it a whole circle from point to point. But I can't, right? I'm not there yet. So what I'll say is like when I answer it, it's like, oh, there's my automatic answer. And then I look at what's the opposite. That's all it is.
Mm.
And then the next level is, okay, where do you feel it?
Mm.
And that's the power of the one word. The one word really makes you focus to deliver everything that's there. So it delivers your defaults.
Mm.
And so I'm always just listening for structure. And that structure is space and charge.
Mhm.
Mm.
And time. So just another one. Like if you want to add another level to it, you can go space, time, and charge. Now,
Mm.
space is in charge. So I yeah, so I work with charge first because then I can relate charge to space.
Yeah.
Because space is everything. Space is everything, but you still have to find something in the everything.
Yeah.
I like how the charge describes perfectly binary computing, which is ones and zeros. That's charge, left or right, positive or negative, 1 or 0.
Hmm.
I watched a documentary last night, a Nova documentary on quantum computing, like decoding quantum.
Mm.
And quantum computers, they have what's called qubits. And in the qubit, it's not a 1 and a 0. It's actually like a 0 and then infinite potentialities in rather than left and right, 1 or 0, positive or negative. There's infinite potentiality. So it's more like a circle of potentiality. And it can be anything, any point on that circle. And I'm talking not a circle, but a 3D sphere. So the potentiality is astronomically high and unfathomable. So these quantum computers, they're a very small chip, and they got to keep them about 1.5 degrees above absolute zero for them to work because they're superconductors.
Wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely mind blowing. But that's kind of what I'm getting at here is that that's our experience is the quantum. We all have access to the quantum, and which is absolute infinite possibility. And like Jesse said, we sometimes fixate on one thing and kind of miss the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of something that was floating around my brain. I wanted to share with you.
Thank you all.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Lee says the same. When you point at stuff, you focus on the finger and miss the whole point.
Thank you, Heinz. That's funny. There's always three pointing back, eh?
Oh, wow.
So just beautiful conversations. But
Yeah, this has really been next level again this
yeah,
morning.
very, very fulfilling, right? Like that's my heart's desire is to experience fulfillment, and these kinds of conversations we have in the mornings are just such a beautiful way to start the day and very fulfilling. I find it fills me up. So I thank you guys for this space. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, everyone. And let's keep going. Let's keep doing it.
And I'm sorry when we have just kind of an off day like yesterday and it's not as good. So, just
We need off days so we can have really, really good days. We need something to compare them to. If every day was phenomenal, then none of them would be.
Yeah, you wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
And luckily, some days that are off for some people are the very highlights for others.
Yep.
Someday we do an easy trick, pull a rabbit out of a hat. The next day we pull the head out of the rabbit's ear.
It's all just perspective.
Yeah.
And we're all just magicians.
Yes.
Creators. Am I creating darkness in my world, or am I creating light?
Mm.
That's the opportunity and the possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, you can't create one without the other.
yeah. And not to get fixated that it has to be one, because it
Yeah.
needs to be both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
both have to exist. That's what we're trying to cut out. We're trying to cut out the other side and think that we can have what we want.
Yeah.
We think we can cut out the suffering, the pain, the hurt, and then we would have love. It's like that's not what you do.
Yeah.
You allow the pain and the suffering, then you can love. Oh, that
Yeah.
makes a whole lot more sense.
Called
Yes, so
empathy.
you go through it rather than trying to fight it. Look,
Yeah.
and so if someone doesn't even want to answer that question, what's their default? If they don't want to
Avoid.
answer the question, yeah, they don't want to answer the question, give me one word that explains the world. They're avoiding it, they're fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're gonna fight. And so
Rejection.
their
They
default
project.
is to fight. And it's like, yep, yep. It's like, oh, you're not ready.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around fighting.
No. And it's a choice. And everyone has that right to choose. And that's just a choice that people make. And that's okay.
Yeah, we are part of the collective consciousness, and what happens in the world affects us. But then again, we have the power to redirect our awareness, and
Yeah.
we can always choose to go inside, not just yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
imagining that a person who doesn't want to answer that question, that they don't they don't want to be seen. They don't they don't want to, and I'm speaking not to make absolutes, but just to go into not answering that question, that they may not want to be seen, or
Mm.
they don't want to see themselves. It's like having a closet and blocking the closet, and they really don't want to open it up because they don't even know what's inside,
Mm.
and they don't want to be judged. They don't want to judge that it's good or bad, and they don't want to be judged because they just don't know what's going to come out of it. And so it's like putting a heart wall up
Mm.
on knowing oneself. And I believe, in my experience, that's where you get stuck.
Mm.
I'm hiding stuff. I don't even know what it is that I'm hiding and protecting. Because when I'm challenged with it or for it, I don't even know if I want to. I don't even know if I want to identify with it or defend it. And it might be something good in there, but I'll never know because I'm keeping the door shut. And so this place of neutrality allows them to just not be directly attacked, so to speak, but just such a, it could be such a nondescript type of party conversation line that gently allows a person to play the game with one word. I think it's a beautiful way to invite people into the presence of their own grace. This is
It levels the playing field. It creates equality, one word, because we all have the same resource to do one word. Wow.
I feel many people, like Sandrell said, don't want to open the door because they want the illusion of control. They want, they know if they open the door, they can't control what comes through it. So they rather be in their own little prison. Because we've been told, don't be vulnerable, don't share emotions, don't. It's been no upon no upon no. So it's, even you have created the no, not the yes and.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna head
eating,
off,
so
guys.
I'm leaving.
Just wanted to say, hope you all have a great day, and I'm gonna head off and get ready for work now.
Have a blessed day and a great
Thank
day at
you.
work.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you again soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm eating, so I will leave to someone else.
What is a recap? Is it a review or just a shortened version of what we've been talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Whichever one you want, Heinz.
Resume?
What?
How about you both? You tag team it.
Qion.
Yeah, I have to dig deep. You know, my English is not. Okay.
Well, I'll take it then. The question of today, sort of to get it all started, was how we saw the world with one word. My word was an illusion. So, because no matter how much I know about the world, it will only be my perspective on what I see in the world. So the rest of the world is actually just an illusion to me. It's what I project. And then you asked what the opposite word would be. And it's hard to find an opposite word to a neutral word, but I said it would be a creation, because illusion is make believe and the other is sort of known. I said it would be more known because we couldn't know it. It was the same as, I think Will had confusion and known as the opposite. So it's all about how we see the world, and we can actually change our perspective. As we change it, the world would actually change for us, because what you say it is what it is.
There you go. Hans,
Yeah.
I have something on my fridge. I've got two things on my fridge, and the one is the poem of Rumi's about the guest house. And the other goes like this: be careful how you describe the world, for that is exactly how it is.
Yep.
And that's a quote from some document which would have been a question answer experience in a meditation environment, put it that way.
A great way of describing that is, the news says the world is violent and misery. So what does all their workers work with? They go to war zones, they go to demonstrations where violence happens and stuff like that. That's what they need to report. So that's their creation. That's how they create the world, by speaking it. But they don't record a beautiful sunrise and a beautiful sunset and says, look at the beauty in the world. I would say they should go visit people who've been married 50 years, lived 100 or something like that. That would be way more positive, to have an example of, look, people are actually doing great. We just need to look other places than in a war zone or at a demonstration.
Because most of the news are fake news.
Yep. It's one perspective. And it may not even be an open perspective. It would be like, well, we go to film the war zone. Well, you're only allowed to film here. Then you can only see what they are. It's not like everybody says, well, everybody upload your smartphone photos and videos, and we'll take them apart and make a real story about how the people see the war.
Do you have more to add to the recap, Heinz?
Nope.
Yeah, me neither.
So going back to muscle testing for a little bit, for me, when I was hearing different words, I wasn't paying attention to the muscle testing until Allison was talking about her life when it was shrouded by apartheid. And the top of the pit of my stomach, it was just like a dull feeling of acid indigestion growing there.
Mm.
And then when she started talking about the sunrise, it simmered it down a little bit, but it's still not gone. And it hurt it kind of like it challenged my effectiveness of the view of the world, it being miraculous. And it made me understand my power, that even in the face of, I'll call it adversity, my perspective, my feeling of the world was being, you know, let's put some reality on this situation, Cinderella. It's like, no, I still stand. I still stand for what I stand for, no matter what else is going on, until a change is perfected in me that I accept. So the book says, let your light so shine. So because another light is shining, it doesn't for you mean to dim your light.
Mm. Exactly.
But it, as worthy as whatever your perspective is, it's great for it to be challenged, to be contrast, because we don't know everything.
Mm.
And the challenge is either going to make my light more pronounced in truth for me, or it's going to eradicate it or diminish it in some type of way. He says we're on the potter's wheel. We're being shaped all the time. And so I know I don't know everything, but I do know. And this is my truth and I'm sticking to it. The world is miraculous. I may not experience it that way all the time, but it still is.
I agree. We all have the truth inside of us, and we all have cosmic energy within us, insight, truth, love, willpower, pleasure, survival instinct. We all have that inside of us, but it can be blocked. The insight can be blocked by illusion, truth can be blocked by lies, and love can be blocked by grief, willpower can be blocked by shame, pleasure can blocked by guilt, survival can be blocked by fear,
Mm-hmm.
So with the awareness, we can detect where the blockage is, by asking.
Yes. So in the coaching space, it allows for the client or co-peer to experience a breakthrough of their own knowingness and how to use and stand in their own light, stand in their own power, stand in their own knowingness.
Yes, yes,
By the challenge.
absolutely. Yeah, you're right.
I'm playing with this avatar here. I did not know that when I close my eyes, it closes its eyes. I thought it was kind of static in its own uh, makeup. And I'm like, this is how the world is. It gives us more of what we put out.
Here you go. That's the mirror. That's the value of the mirror.
It creates miracles.
Yes, miracle.
Yep. And that's the value of, I believe, of what we do. We hold when we're with people and we hold up a mirror for them.
Mm.
Or we are the mirror for them. And we are the mirror for them. Not all.
Mm-hmm.
By just changing the words, we change our way of perceiving things. Like, I'm just a person and this is just my life. Well, I'm a creator and this is my creation, which means my creation can be transformed. It's up to me because it's not me. It's what I put out there that becomes me.
Yes.
Mm.
And the one thing I've been wondering about, or I don't like the word thinking about, but it's when you say it, the Bible is written by different apostles, but of course they experienced him do the miracles, but where did they actually get the time to work through it? By the fireside at evening.
Mhm. So what I've got from this morning's session is we can offer our clients the opportunity to participate in a neutral environment that invites them to feel themselves and honor themselves from where they are
Mm.
and have empathy all the way across the spectrum to that which could possibly be opposite. And for them themselves to discover that they have created that point of view and they have a choice where they want to reside and land on the spectrum of the view. And it's not linear, it's multi-dimensional.
Mm.
And that they have the power of choice of wherever they want to be on that. And as they travel from one perspective to another, to allow themselves to feel the power of that journey and choose knowing that they are the shift to where they want to nurture and land.
There you have your whole framework, Sandra.
Mm.
It's really beautifully put together.
And you know, I'm looking at the notes, ABC, allow being charged. It's a person allowing themselves to be charged,
Mm-hmm.
not someone charging them.
Allow them to connect our hearts,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and then they can amplify it. Yeah. So yeah, well put, Sindrel. I like that very much.
This has been a wonderful learning for me.
Mm. And you've created something really beautiful from it. I bet you did not expect that you would be speaking your framework of coaching this morning.
Mm.
No, I absolutely didn't. So when we get on here, we know it's yes and.
And working the other way, then you can see your creation. And as you see your creation, you realize you're the creator.
Mhm. And yet co-creating,
Yeah.
is no superiority to the position that you function in.
Exactly. And that's what you do when you are with your client.
Mm-hmm.
It's a together creation.
Yeah. And
which needs 2 points, right?
Yeah.
Theirs and yours.
And yours, a reflection of theirs, the mirror for them to see.
Mm-hmm.
So that when they're away from you, they're not counting on the you-ness of you, but the
Exactly.
knowingness of themselves.
Yes.
you're teaching them to create a new perspective, new way to see the world.
Mm-hmm. A new lens.
Yeah.
So I was totally bought into holding space for people, but this has definitely magnified the dimensionality of that power, of that miraculousness. Thank you so much for today, for the questions and for the lessons and for the growth.
Yeah. Thank you for a great co-creation.
Yes. To everybody.
Yeah.
This was so wonderful. So I felt like I was on a massage table, and when you had a really good massage, you don't want to get off the table, right?
Well, you got to go. Next client.
Yeah.
Before I go, I just keep having this feeling of Kailash.
Oh, bless
So
you, Sybil.
I want to send her love and joy and butterfly wings and melodies and songs that just sing, 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 where her heart can be open and she can hear the call of the ring that marries her to her joy, and she can continue to sing, sing, sing. Shout out to Kailash.
I'm so
Hello.
glad this is recorded.
That was beautiful.
Mhm.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
From all of
Thank
us.
you, Sybil.
Yeah, Central. It feels like you and Kailash, you were two birds of the same feather.
All of this, y'all my tribe, y'all my peeps. I just love it. I just love it here.
Same.
Okay, everybody, I'm gonna go.
Peace,
Yeah. Thank
peace
you,
and
Shadow.
love.
You all have a blessed day. Love and hugs.
Yeah. Love
Thank
you
you,
all.
everyone. Have a
Bye.
wonderful day.
Big love,
Bye.
guys.